There is a brutal truth most people avoid, not because it's complicated, but because it's too uncomfortable. Reality doesn't respond to your desires. It responds to your self-image. You can pray, journal, hustle, beg the universe, or scream into a mirror. But if the person doing all that still believes deep down they're unworthy, invisible, or not enough, nothing will change. Because the world mirrors you, and if you don't change what's behind your eyes, nothing in front of them will evolve. If you feel stuck, reliving the same relationship dynamics, attracting the same pain, fighting the same battles, it's not a coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's an echo of the image you hold of yourself, not the one you show others, but the one that lives quietly underneath your words, choices, posture, and expectations. You're not trapped by the world. You're trapped by a mental algorithm you didn't even realize you were running. And that algorithm is shaped by one thing, your self-image. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, frowning. You scream at the reflection, smile, change, be joyful. But the image just stares back, emotionless. You try harder. Visualizations, affirmations, mantras, still nothing. Until it hits you. The reflection isn't the problem. You are. That's what most people never realize. They're begging the world to reflect joy, abundance, connection, while radiating fear, self-doubt, and unworthiness from within. No matter what you pursue, money, love, peace, success, if you still carry an identity that says, "I don't deserve this," the universe will respond in kind. Here's the dark psychological truth. Your subconscious doesn't want to succeed. It wants to be right. So if you believe you're unworthy, your mind will sabotage anything that contradicts that belief. You'll reject love that feels too healthy. You'll procrastinate just before a breakthrough. You'll downplay compliments, opportunities, even miracles. Why? Because they threaten the fragile consistency of your self-image. Your nervous system would rather stay in predictable misery than risk the chaos of unfamiliar success. Your life is not shaped by what you want. It's shaped by who you think you are. You might say you want a soulmate, but if your identity says, "I'm hard to love," you'll chase people who prove it. You might say you want abundance, but if your core belief is money is for others, you'll find ways to lose it, reject it, or sabotage it. Until your self-image shifts, your life won't. Most people don't fail because they're lazy or untalented. They fail because of who they think they have to be accepted. They adopt masks, the chill one, the overachiever, the fixer, the invisible one. Each role buys temporary approval, but long-term pain. Because inside, your true self is screaming, "This isn't me. This isn't what I want. Why am I still performing?" And the more you perform, the more reality reflects the performance, not the truth underneath it. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This isn't spiritual fluff. It's psychological reality. People who love themselves speak differently. They move differently. They tolerate differently. They don't chase, they radiate. They don't negotiate their worth, they embody it. And the world mirrors it back. Not because they're lucky, but because they've rewired the signal they're sending out. Reality doesn't obey your desires. It mirrors your identity. You don't become a millionaire by chasing money. You become one by rewiring your identity to match the internal structure of someone who naturally creates, holds, and multiplies wealth. The same is true for love. You don't become loved by chasing affection, over-explaining your worth, or bending yourself to fit someone else's needs. You become lovable the moment you stop needing others to validate your existence and start embodying the truth that you are already enough. Here's what most people don't understand. The world doesn't respond to your conscious desires. It responds to your subconscious identity. You can want success. You can want love. You can want peace. But if your nervous system still believes you're unworthy, unsafe, or undeserving, you'll unconsciously reject, sabotage, or overlook everything that contradicts that belief. Because the brain has a primary directive, consistency, even if that consistency keeps you in pain. Your life is a mirror, but not of what you think. You're not manifesting your dreams, you're manifesting your wounds. If your core belief is, "The world is against me," then every setback becomes proof. If you were taught that love is conditional, you'll seek lovers who make you earn affection. If you grew up feeling unseen, you'll become addicted to visibility, but terrified of intimacy. Not because you're cursed, but because your subconscious is constantly sculpting your reality to reflect the story it believes is true. It's not punishment, it's psychology. The mind doesn't create what's fair, it creates what's familiar. Your patterns aren't personal flaws, they're emotional survival scripts. That anxiety when someone pulls away? That's not you being needy, that's your nervous system screaming, "Connection is leaving, and so am I." That compulsion to overwork, overdeliver, overachieve, that's not ambition, it's trauma disguised as productivity. A desperate attempt to be worthy enough to be safe. And until you address these inner architectures, life will feel like Groundhog Day. Different faces, different jobs, different lovers, same emotional outcomes. This isn't spiritual fluff. This is neuroscience. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex, your emotional regulator, responds not to what you want, but to what you believe about yourself and the world. The vagus nerve, the body's emotional brake pedal, activates safety when congruence is felt, when your inner world matches your external life. But when you're chasing dreams from a place of inner emptiness or fear, the body detects a threat, not alignment. You go into sympathetic activation, cortisol spikes, blood pressure rises, emotional reactivity increases. You're not manifesting, you're fighting your own biology. That's why people who look like they have it all, wealth, beauty, relationships, often feel anxious, empty, or lost. They didn't change their signal. They just decorated the noise. Your reality is built in identity currency. If you identify as someone who's always broke, no strategy will work long term. If you identify as hard to love, no relationship will feel safe. If you identify as not good enough, you'll reject praise, opportunities, even miracles, not because you're weak, but because they feel incongruent with who you believe you are. Until you update your self-image, nothing sticks. The truth is, most manifestation doesn't fail because your vision is wrong. It fails because your foundation is fractured. You're trying to build a mansion on a cracked floor and calling it bad luck when it collapses. You say you want freedom, but your nervous system is still wired for survival. You wake up bracing for impact. You make decisions from fear, and freedom doesn't live there. It can't. Freedom is expansive, but survival is constriction. You can't live both at once. You say you want love, but you secretly believe you're not worthy of being loved. So every time someone gets close, you flinch. You overthink your messages, sabotage connection, or chase the emotionally unavailable. Because that feels safer than being truly seen. You don't attract what you desire. You attract what you believe you deserve. You say you want wealth, but deep down you're afraid that money will make you arrogant, or that if you have more, others will resent you. So you procrastinate, play small, or overspend to stay relatable, and you call it bad habits. But it's not lack of discipline, it's emotional loyalty to the past. It's not the goal that's wrong, it's the identity you're using to pursue it. If your conscious desire says abundance, but your subconscious identity still screams, "I'm unsafe, I'll be abandoned, I'm not enough," that's not alignment. What most people call blockages are just emotional contradictions between who you are now and who you're trying to become. And until those internal conflicts are resolved, no vision board, affirmation, or full moon ritual will stick. The brain prioritizes consistency over success. It would rather keep you stuck in familiar pain than risk unfamiliar power. Why? Because the subconscious mind is not wired for what's possible. It's wired for what's safe. And anything that threatens your old self-image gets filtered out. Before you manifest the outcome, you must become the version of you who naturally lives it. That means healing the belief that love is dangerous, releasing the guilt around success, making your nervous system feel safe in joy, freedom, and expansion. Only then will your reality shift, not because you're forcing it, but because you've become someone for whom that outcome is normal. Integration is the answer. Not just mindset work, but nervous system regulation. Not just goals, but internal alignment. Not just affirmations, but identity reprogramming. Because the mirror of life doesn't respond to words. It responds to frequency. And the moment your beliefs, emotions, and identity align with your desires, the reflection changes instantly. Because the world was never holding you back. It was just showing you, you. This is the silent trap that shatters 99% of personal growth attempts. You read a book, watch a video, feel a wave of motivation, and for the first time in years, you see it. A new self, a new standard, a new life. You visualize, you journal, you say the affirmations. For a few days, maybe even a week, you walk taller. You speak clearer. You carry yourself like the person you want to become. But then it happens. Nothing changes. No miracle appears. The same people treat you the same way. The bank account doesn't move. The energy fades. So you tell yourself the lie. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe I'm not meant for this. And just like that, you're back. Not because the method failed, but because you forgot the mirror has a delay. Why change feels like failure? Reality doesn't update instantly. It's not your thoughts that shape the world. It's your consistency of identity over time. Here's the science. Your brain is wired to seek evidence for its core beliefs. This is called confirmation bias. So when you start acting differently, your subconscious will panic. It will look for proof that the change is real. And if the world doesn't give that proof instantly, your nervous system goes into alarm. See, you're not lovable. You're still broke. Nobody noticed the new you. This discomfort triggers a return to the known, even if the known is pain. Why? Because familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar power. And this is the moment that separates the average from the rare. The ones who succeed aren't more talented. They're just willing to endure the delay without letting it break their new identity. At first, you hear only the old echo. You're weak. You're fake. You always fail. Most people stop there. They assume the echo is the truth. But if you keep shouting, something happens. Eventually, the new words bounce back. The echo changes. This is what reality does. It tests your conviction. Are you really the new you? Or are you just pretending, hoping for instant applause? Reality doesn't reward the rehearsed. It rewards the integrated. And integration requires time. Do you know what's happening in your body during this mirror delay phase? Your dopamine system is recalibrating. Your vagus nerve is adapting to new emotional states. Your prefrontal cortex is building new prediction models for the future. This takes time, days, weeks, sometimes months. But the reward? When the shift locks in, your baseline changes. You don't have to fake confidence, you are confident. You don't chase love, it finds you. You don't force wealth. You move like someone who already has it. And eventually, reality catches up. The mirror changes, but only if you keep standing in front of it as the person you choose to be. They stepped into a new identity, but couldn't endure the echo of the old one. Change isn't hard. Waiting for it to show up without falling back is. You can say affirmations all day, but if your inner dialogue is still soaked in, I'm not enough. No one sees me. Life is hard. I'm broken. That's what the mirror captures. Every complaint, every grudge, every self-attack is a command to the mirror. I hate being broke. The mirror replies with more reasons to feel poor. I'm so lonely. The mirror delivers isolation. People don't care about me. The mirror shows you coldness in others. Why does this always happen to me? The mirror says, because that's who you think you are. The mirror is not punishing you. It's just reflecting your emotional signature. The universe has no opinion. It has no morality. It is the most faithful photocopier in existence, duplicating what you believe, not what you wish. Psychology calls this confirmation bias. Your brain literally filters reality to confirm what it already believes. If you believe you're unlovable, you'll ignore affection and obsess over rejection. If you believe the world is dangerous, you'll notice every threat and miss every opportunity. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll sabotage chances just to stay aligned with that identity. This isn't mysticism. It's selective attention, reticular activation, emotional priming, hardwired neural functions. So your thoughts don't create reality. Your beliefs shape your perception, and perception decides your behavior. Your behavior then reinforces the belief, and the mirror keeps reflecting the cycle. You believe you're inadequate. You speak to people with insecurity. They respond with caution or distance. You interpret that as proof. See, I'm not enough. The belief deepens. This isn't reality confirming the truth. It's belief programming reality. And until you interrupt the loop with a new internal narrative, nothing changes. No new relationship, no new income, no inner peace. Because the mirror can't show you something you won't accept inside yourself. Positive thinking without inner belief is self-gaslighting. Here's the dangerous trap of most self-help advice. Just think better thoughts. But if you're saying I'm successful with a nervous system that's screaming, I'm a fraud, you're not manifesting confidence, you're deepening the internal split. Your body knows the truth, and when your words don't match your felt belief, the mirror stays locked on your real broadcast, not your scripted performance. So what's the solution? Stop focusing on thoughts. Start focusing on emotional alignment. Ask yourself, what do I really believe I deserve? What do I expect when I walk into a room? What do I assume people see when they look at me? What's the secret fear behind all my self-improvement efforts? Because that's what the mirror hears. Your baseline emotional set point is your true affirmation. You can't fake belief, but you can shift it. Slowly, intentionally. Instead of saying, I'm a millionaire, say, I'm learning to feel safe with abundance. Instead of, I love myself, say, I'm building a relationship with myself I've never had before. Instead of, I'm confident, say, I'm practicing what it feels like to stand in my truth, even when it's uncomfortable. These are true, embodied, honest, and the mirror responds to truth. Here's what you're really doing when you shift belief. You're calming your nervous system. You're regulating your fight or flight response. You're deactivating old trauma pathways. You're changing how you walk, speak, and breathe. You're building a new emotional normal. And once that becomes consistent, the mirror finally updates. Most people live life backwards. They wake up and look at the world to decide how to feel. They check their phone, the mirror, their inbox. Then they react. If the world gives them approval, they feel worthy. If it gives them silence, they feel invisible. If it gives them resistance, they collapse. This is how you become a slave to the mirror, and worse, a prisoner of the past self the mirror was designed to reflect. You're not living. You're observing yourself live and adjusting your identity second by second based on outdated data. This is not conscious life. This is spiritual autopilot. This is identity shaped by echo, not by essence. It looks like this. Something happens. You react emotionally. That emotion becomes a belief. That belief shapes your identity. That identity projects into the world. The world reflects it back. The cycle repeats. So you're not choosing your life. You're just responding to a reflection of your previous response. And you call it fate. If you want to escape the mirror trap, there is only one way. You must go first. You must decide who you are and hold that decision longer than your past reflection can resist. Before the money shows up, act like someone who respects wealth. Before the love arrives, treat yourself like someone worth cherishing. Before peace comes, create rituals that quiet your mind. Before the approval comes, Stop betraying yourself for applause. Identity must precede evidence. Inner choice must precede outer confirmation. This is the law of transformation. Studies in neuroplasticity show the brain rewires based on repeated emotional states, not just ideas. Close your eyes. Now zoom 10 years into the future. But don't just imagine what you have. Imagine who you are. Where do you wake up? What does your space feel like? Clean, powerful, serene? What kind of thoughts are in your head before the world interrupts? Who's in your life and who's gone? How do you walk into a room? How do others respond to your presence? Feel it in your body, not your brain. This isn't fantasy. This is a prototype. You're building the blueprint that the mirror will be forced to reflect, if you commit to becoming it. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to those who build the inner traits required to receive what they want. Write down 10 internal traits that your future self radiates. Emotional mastery, calm decisiveness, relentless discipline, playfulness and joy, ability to say no without guilt, magnetic leadership, deep trust in self. Because when the trait is embodied, the goal arrives naturally. Most affirmations don't work. Why? Because they're too weak, too abstract. They don't challenge the subconscious or carry emotional force. So instead of saying, "I am successful," say, "I create success because I operate with focused energy and unshakable clarity." Instead of saying, "I am confident," say, "I walk into every room knowing that my energy is valuable, even if no one claps." Or, "I don't need to convince anyone. My truth is non-negotiable." Write 5 custom affirmations grounded in identity, who you are becoming; behavior, what you practice; worldview, how you see life. Say them, feel them, walk with them. Not to convince the mirror, but to reprogram the image it must reflect. This is the spiritual discipline. You hold the image, even when the reflection doesn't agree. You show up confident, even when people ignore you. You stay focused, even when results don't arrive. You affirm peace, even when chaos surrounds you. This is what separates those who wish from those who reshape reality. The mirror is slow. It wants proof you're serious. So you must speak, walk, and breathe as your future self long before the world claps for it. And when the temptation comes to react to the old reflection, pause, breathe, and say, "I don't follow the reflection, I lead it." Because every time you behave in alignment with your future self, you send a signal to your nervous system. This is who we are now. And your brain, your energy, and your reality begin to catch up. This isn't magic, it's neurobiology. The nervous system can't fake alignment. The mirror can't reflect what isn't radiating. There will come a moment, not once but many times, when everything will seem like it's falling apart. The results will stall. The people around you won't understand. The mirror of your life will mock your efforts with silence, chaos, or contradiction. And in that silence, your old self will whisper, "Nothing's working. I'm wasting my time. This is delusional. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Other people are just luckier. I should just be realistic." This is the trap, the final gate. Not because life is cruel, but because the mirror cannot change until your conviction outweighs your circumstances. You're not being punished. You're being measured. Life is asking, do you still believe when there's no proof? Do you still embody your new self when the old one screams for comfort? Do you lead, or do you wait for permission from results? Because here's the brutal truth. Most people quit just before the mirror bends. They break character too soon. They glance back at the reflection, see no reward, and betray the very image they were trying to build. They don't fail because they were weak. They fail because they looked for confirmation too early. But the new reality does not come as a gift. It comes as a response, and that response only arrives when you've proven with your nervous system, your voice, your habits, your energy, that this is who you are now, no matter what. So when the doubt hits, when the voice says, "This is pointless," when the mirror shows nothing new, don't flinch, don't beg, don't collapse. Instead, say, "Ah, this is the test. This is the moment the old world tries to reclaim me. But I don't wait for the mirror. I lead it. And I bend reality by becoming undeniable." Because the truth is, the moment you keep showing up without applause, the moment you keep speaking your truth while no one listens, the moment you hold your vision while the world stays dark, that is the moment reality begins to crack beneath your feet. And then, slowly at first, then all at once, the mirror bends, not to reward you, but because it had no other choice. The mirror doesn't lie, it just obeys. Change your beliefs and the reflection will follow. But until you shift your identity, you will relive the same story under different masks. This is not mysticism. This is psychological gravity. Whatever you repeatedly believe, you will see.